Is running good for fat loss? Is cycling good for fat loss? Common questions, and I'm just going to clear up a bit of the controversy, maybe misconceptions around this sort of topic. Now, they're both just ways of expending energy. However frequent and adherent you are, especially taking to other things like how much you enjoy certain activities, these have bigger impacts on actual fat loss because they all give you the ability to just manage frequent expenditure of whatever activity you're doing in order to complement the amount of energy you expend against the energy that you intake food-wise on a daily basis. It's all balance of calories when it comes to fat loss, a very fundamental principle, and it really does not need overlooking. There's no superior form of cardiovascular exercise. We've got steady state cardio, high intensity cardio, whatever is actually manageable, adherable, that is what's going to help your frequency of expending energy, whether it be on a daily basis. But you've got to take into account if you run, it's a high heart rate activity, you get quite sweaty, but these don't correlate with fat loss because the calorie balance is what correlates with fat loss or fat gain, and you'll notice that on your body. High intensity interval workouts are only a fraction of your day, 30 minutes for example. You've got to consider in the remaining 14 hours of your day that you're up and about that you've not taxed yourself so much in high intensity workouts that the rest of your movement throughout the day compensates by moving less. If you compare that to steady state cardio, where you've not burned as many calories in the present of your exercise, like 30 minutes, but in your energy expenditure outside of your exercise, you've moved a lot more. Your actual calorie expenditure has probably been more from steady state cardio, moving more outside of your training, compared to high intensity and barely moving outside of your exercise hours. Do you understand? I really hope that makes sense. So back to the question, is running good for fat loss? Is cycling good for fat loss? The question is a little bit iffy in my opinion. The better question to ask will be, is running good to help my energy expenditure so it can help me stay in a deficit of calories if I pair that with a controlled calorie intake? And the same with the cycling question. They're both going to complement fat loss if calorie balance is in check. It's all about how frequent, how manageable and how adherent you are to expending your energy in any form, whether it be the cardio, whether it be resistance training, which is brilliant for things like bigger impact on your basal metabolic rate through resistance training, as opposed to cardio, but I'm not going to complicate this video anymore. Basically, there's not as much neuromuscular work in cardio compared to weights. Cardio, more heart and lung beneficial. Weights, a lot more beneficial to actual body shape and muscle toning. I talked about that in my last video. So no superior exercise, but on a personal level, what I'd say is activity that you enjoy, how frequent and adherable you can be to that. Pair that with a controlled calorie intake, and that is the fundamental to fat loss. Nothing more, nothing less.